How much do you think this note is worth? Well, in my case right now, $0. In fact, I actually lost money because of that, because the electricity it used cost me $0.00017. You could make the argument that that's about the same amount that Spotify pays their artists per stream. But now, how much is this note worth? Now, if you listen very closely, that is actually the fourth note in the solo to Bohemian Rhapsody. Considering that this is one of the biggest songs of all time, it's gotta be worth something, right? So that really begs the question, how much is a note worth? Given the context it's in, you could calculate this with any song just by figuring out how much the song made and divide it by the amount of notes that are in the song. And don't you dare fact check me on this. All of these amounts come from reliable sources. So Bohemian Rhapsody is off of the album A Night at the Opera, which sold 11 million copies. Like, I can't, look at all these copies. Now, one issue that I did run into, though, was that this is over the course of 50 years. So let's break this down. In the 70s, vinyl was on average $7.50 per record. And then in the 90s, CDs were around $15. So let's get the average and call it $11.25 per sale. 11 million copies times $11.25 equals $123,750,000. Yeah, you heard that right. Since the album is just over 43 minutes long and Bohemian Rhapsody is 5 minutes and 55 seconds, that equals it to be about 13.72% of the total album, and that equals just shy of $17 million for Bohemian Rhapsody alone. Now, if you thought that wasn't convoluted enough, just you wait, we're just getting started. Calculating digital sales is much easier, probably. The song has about 10 million downloads, selling at $1 each. That means you could finally afford that beautiful house in Vancouver, Canada that you've had your eye on for a while. And when you add streaming to the mix, I can 100% accurately say that the song totals about 3 billion plays. And with an average of $0.004 per play, which is totally a fair cut, that comes out to $22 million total. Lastly, the last metric worth considering is licensing. Whether it be games, movies, TV shows like Wayne's World, Guitar Hero, that's all I could think of off the top of my head, but that all equaled to about $12.5 million. Now that we've reached the end, we can confidently say Bohemian Rhapsody grossed a total of $51,478,500. Christ. Reading numbers out loud is just, it's not it. $51,478,500. That's enough to buy 25.7 million McChickens or 52 million cans of Arizona tea, 82,420,547 Jazz 3 guitar picks. Because let me tell you, I don't trust anyone that doesn't play with the Jazz 3, but you're probably going to end up losing more of them than you have days in your life, so you'll need them. So that was some fun information, but what do we do with it now? So the only real solid metric that we ended up with is the total amount the song made, which means we could come up with a bunch of fun and 100% accurate ways to kind of play around with this. I feel like the best way for me to start figuring this out is by counting every note in the song individually. Drums included if you count them as sheet music or tablature, and chords and harmonies that are split up into their own individual notes. My method of doing this was downloading the best version of this song for Guitar Pro and then sitting there counting all of the notes. If anyone says they use a lot of willpower, I will challenge them with this. This is something that I did at 1 a.m. one night as I painstakingly sat there and counted every note with a click counter in one screen and then the tab on the other for about 2 hours. So after this very long and tedious process, which left me in a state of contemplating why I'm even doing this anymore, when you add all those up, we end up with 4,779 notes or 550 words total for the song. So if we did the math on this, we could confidently say that Bohemian Rhapsody is worth about, so many f***ing numbers in this video, $10,771.81 per note. Or we could shift perspective and say it was worth $93,596 per word. So for example, the guitar solo is 83 notes out of 4,779, which is 1.85% of the song's total note count. So with that, we can say the guitar solo alone is worth $952,352 when Brian May recorded it. So I would say that's not so bad, especially considering that if I were to play that solo right now, I would be losing money because of the electricity. So if you remember me playing that note, that cost me $0.000017. And if you times that by 83, you end up with $0.00141. So hooray for me, we've gone full circle. So I know that was a lot of info to consume all at once. So I took the liberty to write it all down on this neatly written piece of paper here. So, enjoy that. And, hey, who put this here? Well, I guess while you're here, you may as well just, hit the subscribe button. And thanks for watching.